We are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into this week's edition of the Auburn Live Call-In Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. And today is Sunday, May the 14th. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to the fathers as well. There wouldn't be Mother's Day without the men. Think about it.
True. Very true.
If you haven't already become a member of Auburn Live on 3, we are certainly looking forward to you joining. Right now is a fantastic opportunity to jump on the ship because we are cruising. $30 right now for the next 6 months. That's $5 a month, folks. Cannot beat it like a cute puppy. I am joined tonight, and we've got some stuff to talk about, folks. We got some stuff to talk about. We got some transfer news to talk about, some visits, some new offers, even a JUCO offensive tackle on campus here recently. And to help me talk about it all with you is Mr. Jhead, Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
How about you?
How about you?
All right.
Yeah.
How about you? All right. Sunday night, man. How about you, buddy? Hey, we want to get to the phone lines as soon as possible. We know we got some people we want to hear from this week. I'm not going to mention them by name. You know who you are. 701-779-9585. Y'all go ahead and pop that seal. Get on over here and give us a call. Give us some comments, some questions. We got a lot of stuff going on. Before we get to the phone lines, though, Keith, tell me mute your mic, man. Mute your mic. I will next time. My apologies. Before we go any further, though, listen. Now is the perfect time to get that house up for sale. End of the school year, summer's coming up. People are ready to getting that itch to move. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you're thinking about selling right now, it's a perfect opportunity to do so. Not the best time to buy. The interest rates are a little high, but man, you talk about having a good opportunity to sell right now would be great. Hey, and if you're doing so in the Auburn, Opelika, Lee County area, give Jessica Andrews a call. She is with the Talents Group, man. She is a 5-star realtor. She can do it all, folks. Really, really, really good. Speak from experience. 334-704-4442. She can find your dream home. She can sell the one you're ready to get out of. She can do it for top dollar, man. I'm telling you, she can stage the house, market it. 5-star realtor for a reason, folks. Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. Give her a call. Tell her we sent you. 334-704-4442. And let's move it on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Okay. So in the past week, since our last call-in show, we did the recruiting show on Thursday, had a lot of good scoop and gossip and whatever else you want to call it in that show as well. But for our loyal call-in listeners, since the last episode, we've seen Auburn bring in Larry Nixon on Thursday for an official visit, the linebacker transfer from North Texas. On that same day, junior college offensive tackle Markel Bell came in for an official visit. He is a 2023 guy, at least Auburn is trying to, or would like him to be. Auburn wants him to enroll immediately. He is 6'9", 330-ish, 340-ish, and man, he is an impressive specimen of a man. Also, in the past 24 hours, I do believe, Auburn has offered another transfer wide receiver, Mr. Shane Hooks from Jackson State University over in Mississippi. So a lot going on right now. And Zach heard JSU. He jumps in here. You know what?
Oh, we have a caller.
All right. Well, hey, this is just some of the topics that you guys can mention, can ask about. Also got some high school recruiting going on right now. But let's go to the phone lines.
2428. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is JC from Sharpsburg, guys.
What's up, JC? What's on your line tonight?
Oh, nothing much, man. Been working a little bit. And no, I wasn't drinking and driving, guys. Just want to hit on that baseball a little bit. It's great to see Butch Thompson take them boys and whoop LSU's ass, South Carolina. They're projecting us to be number 3 seed?
2 after this past weekend, I believe. I think they're up to a 2 seed now.
Did they sweep Ole Miss?
They did.
3-game sweep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I knew they swept the doubleheader.
I got to watch a little bit of the ball game today, trying to catch up on some things. But, they looked awesome. And it's great to see because everybody was down on Butch this year, and I think they're kicking it at the right time.
Now, what didn't a pitcher get hurt?
Joseph Gonzalez, who was going to be our ace, and actually I think he pitched for the under 21 national team, I believe, this past year. I mean, very talented player and would have helped us out. I mean, he would have been your Friday night guy. And to lose a piece like that, Jeffrey, I mean, you know how pivotal pitching is in the SEC and in college baseball in general. You're taking a W off the board. So Butch had to figure some things out and had to figure them out on the fly. And now to have a winning record in the SEC where it's as competitive. I mean, I think the national champion has come from the SEC. What?
It's been a long streak, and they've dominated Omaha.
So
I'm trying to think the last non-SEC school to win it.
I'm having a hard time picking it up.
I'm going to say Miami for some reason.
What wasn't it like Coastal Carolina or someone won it a few years back?
Yes, Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, Grayson McCall.
Played Virginia for the title, right? Or was it Oregon State? I can't remember. It was one of those two clubs.
Wow. Man, that's how old I am. Like back in my day, Miami used to be really good. They're probably not very good anymore, are they? Ah, look at Zach. Yeah, Zach was like Jay Lee.
Yeah.
in football too, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Miami, they own the 90s, big dog.
Hey, Jeffrey, let's hear that story about I keep hearing about you getting stuff in a trash can at the supper club. What's the deal? Tell the story. I don't even know nothing about it. I heard it even back when she was on with the other guys and everything. I just keep hearing about you guys stuffed in a trash can. What's the story?
I'll give you the Cliff's Notes, man. This was back in the day. I'm 47, I think now.
Yeah.
You're young, and man, I'm 52.
Okay. Yeah, you're old ass. But anyway, listen. This was back in the day when I wanted to party so bad, like I'd go to the supper club by myself. Like I didn't give a damn, dude. Everybody go home. Everybody,
Jeffrey.
It'd be like 2:00 in the morning. Everybody's like, "All right, man, I've had enough." I was like, "Taxi!" There you go. So I'd go out there, and I never met a stranger at the supper club. Even it was like everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
And I'd get a little rowdy there towards the end, and Shannon, I'll never forget his name. His name was Shannon. Short, big old dude. He was short, but God bless America, like a stump, like Josh Thompson's older brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he was real cool. I mean, he had threw me out a couple times. Hey, all right, it's time for you to go, big dog.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I can attest to that. I've definitely been thrown out.
Yeah, it's time for you to leave. So, but anyways, me and this old boy got to fighting out on the dance floor. I don't know that we actually got to fighting, but we was about to. And Shannon knew that it was probably.
So you trying to dance with him?
It's probably his girl.
Hell, I would have. Yeah, I bet he was trying to fight you.
Shannon picks me up, and them big old gray trash cans, right? And big old, and sitting out in the middle of the floor by those pipes. He picked me up, man. He just dumped me. So I was kind of, my legs was up here, my head was up here, like he is in the trash can. And it was a lot funnier when it was happening. But I got a free ride home that night. There you go, JC. That was the allegedly
the abridged version.
Yes. Oh, Zach, you got another call?
Hey, I watched little highlights of the quarterback. I love one thing is he could hit a dang running back out of the backfield.
He will.
Sorry, Bo Nix and everybody else, y'all can't do it. It's good to see that.
He will go to the check down every once in a while.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'll let somebody else come in.
Appreciate you, JC. Appreciate you, big dog. Be safe out there.
That was Johnny Caldwell, right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
18 deep in the
sorting
season.
it up to JC, thinking he would think he's Jim Caviezel calling in.
Jim Caviezel.
We got two more callers here. We'll go 1656. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
I'm Bristol Cole, and I'm calling from Bristol, Tennessee, right on the Tennessee-Virginia line.
Oh, Bristol from Bristol.
Yeah.
Good racetrack up there, man. I used to love that NASCAR race.
Yeah, it's yeah. We're now
Hey.
put dirt in there, and they run it on. They run dirt track in there too.
Is that right?
I was calling because I kind of get confused, and I'm just wondering, since South Carolina stole USC from USC, how do we know whether we're talking about South Carolina or we're talking about Southern California?
It's a fair question.
USC East or USC West?
That is acceptable.
In message board talk, it's USC little e.
There you go.
I've learned.
And or USC
Little E.
JR.
Yeah.
Bristol.
Okay.
Somebody asked me that on the
Little
corner.
E. Okay. Got it.
And I told him, I said, when I write, I make sure I spell out South Carolina and I refer to the other one as Southern Cal.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Bristol.
Just a note before we get to the next caller, Auburn softball is headed to Clemson for the regional. The chat wanted to
Pocket watch
so.
with the assist there. Are we the 2 seed, Zach, in that one, or do we know?
I want to say so. I'll double check though.
Okay.
We'll get to the next caller real quick. 9095. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Shar Shangam from Sanderson. So I sort of say kind of questions to outside of Sig Shout says Shepherd She, Shay Shed, Show Shingston, Jackson Channel. Outside of Sig Shout. I see them showing a Sinsued C. Sheber. Sim Sabi saying soft with Fred Strupples or Sean Shaley.
That's a serious question right there.
Yeah, no kidding. 4085.
That's the best bit that's called in, hands down.
This is the Wolf from deep into Coleman County.
Oh, the Wolf coming out of the hiding.
Guys, gentlemen, I was under the impression that everybody in Auburn on these message boards are serious about recruiting. Seems like to me they hang on y'all's every word. They ask questions nonstop. But when it comes down to opening the wallet, it's welded shut.
Oh, you talking?
What the heck is going on?
The Wolf went on a big OTV rant the other day.
Somebody on these message boards to put some money up so we can get some of these players.
Wolf, you're talking about On to Victory, the NIL, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Wolf, what is your? Do you have a subscription? Like, what's your budget?
I got in last month when they had the special, the Cadillac special, $24 a month.
Nice. Okay.
Hey, buddy, I'll do the bare minimum if I got to. If we can get more people to do the bare minimum, turn over a couch cushion. Quit going to Starbucks in the morning. Quit drinking Sunkist. I don't know.
You're going to burn that money anyway, right?
Do something to get you. I mean, we just got updated, folks, that Cam Coleman went to go visit Georgia. You reckon he's going to see a little NIL over there?
Wolf, who has Auburn missed out on?
Well, I don't want to. I figure that if we're going to go after the big dogs, which the difference makers, some of the big dogs are going after them too. And when it comes down to it, I don't want to be Quay Rousseau again.
I get that.
Fair enough.
Let me. I will say this.
Is there something we could do on the Auburn Live or something like that when we do a subscription to do a $34 so I can get a blue check mark so I can just paintbrush everybody who's talking smack to me?
I don't think it's as bad as you think it is, Wolf.
Well, we just saw we got one over 1,000 subscribers to own the victory? How many people we got on 3 message boards?
Oh, you're talking about
7 on 3 and rivals. I bet there's 4,000.
Well, Wolf, let me ask you this, man. Do you think that there would be how many 15, 16 transfer portal additions so far without NIL?
No.
Okay.
But
So
Jimmy Ray can't do it all.
maybe that's where the focus
I
is
just
right
thought-
now, right?
Go ahead.
Do you think maybe that's where the focus is? And yes, high school recruiting, but you still got months to go there. Transfer portal, you had to lock these guys down, right? That's
Yes,
how
sir.
I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking at it on that part. But, I think we need to give it a little bit more time on this class and see how NIL plays in December, because that's when it hits, if you ask me.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we're sitting. I'd love to see 10,000 subscribers by December on the victory, especially with, we're going to be fighting Alabama and Georgia and everybody else for these players.
I will say this, Wolf. You mentioned Quay Russaw. On to Victory, Auburn's NIL collective, is the only reason that Quay Russaw and James Smith stepped foot in Auburn a year ago. Without On to Victory and the NIL, they don't even visit Auburn. I promise you.
There's probably some truth to that.
But I hear you, Wolf, in that you can always make a good product better, right? And I think that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
Is to continue to improve our NIL situation, even though we're on good footing right now.
And Wolf, correct me if I'm wrong. You're not talking specifics recruiting. You're saying, listen, if On to Victory just now surpassed 1,000 subscribers, where the hell has everybody been?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, on 3 message boards, you probably got, I don't know how many on 3s have, but I'm going to imagine it's probably got close to, upwards, getting closer to 5,000 people, probably.
I would say
20,000 people on 247. It's been around longer, and you got all these others. So you're looking at a significant number of people that could, turn over a couch cushion. Come on, guys.
Well, if those numbers are right, if there's 1,000 subscribers On to Victory on the monthly subscription, that to me does sound low. Seem low, and I don't know that those. I'm just taking your word for it, Wolf, that you're right. But you got to think the season ticket holders, which would probably be 40,000,
Probably
half the stadium,
probably more than it was last year. Right now,
so you got to think 40,000 season ticket holders. Do you think a share of their money goes to NIL?
I don't know. I thought that wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That'd probably be a good question. But I hear you. I hear you, Wolf. If your numbers are right, 1,000 subscribers to OTV. I don't know if that's monthly or what, but it should be more. I agree there. All right, Wolf. Appreciate you, big dog. Good call, man. Keep us going, Zach.
9219. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Braylon from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
What's up, Braylon?
What's up, man? I just had 2 questions for you, and then I'll get out y'all way because I know y'all got a lot of people calling in. First question, how do y'all feel? What position are we in to acquire Perry Thompson, Cam, and KJ? Do y'all feel like we are in a good spot to get those guys, or what?
And Perry Thompson, KJ Lacey?
No, probably KJ Bolden if I had to guess.
Yeah,
KJ Bolden and
I'm sorry.
the wide was a 5-star receiver. Cam, I forgot his last name.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Cam Coleman, the 5 stars. There you go. Cole, give us your take on Perry Thompson, and hell, give us your take on those 3 guys. Jhead, I'll let you chime in there as well.
Sure.
Of the 3, I think I like Auburn's chances the best with Cam Coleman right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of buzz around Perry Thompson right now, and I get it. I think he's legitimately somewhat torn. I don't know if he's like ready to flip today. I think he's torn a little bit, and he likes Auburn, likes Alabama. He said before that he was looking around. So, I'm watching him pretty close. I'm not ready to say he's going to flip or anything yet, but he's definitely in contention. And then you've got KJ Bolden, who Auburn was not in the picture for it all, and they kind of climbed into the sort of top there. It seems like, because I think Auburn's going to get an official visit from him. I think, probably get him on campus a few more times before it's over with. So if I'm ranking them, that's the order I go. Coleman most confident, next would be Thompson, and last would be Bolden. I'm not super confident about Bolden. I'm a little bit more confident about Thompson, and I'm fairly confident about Cam Coleman.
Coleman.
Okay. And last question for you guys. So when it comes to the transfers we're trying to pull in, like, are y'all feeling good about the edge from James Madison or the wide receiver from Colorado? I'm not even going to try to because I'm a butcher it. So yeah, but how y'all feeling on those guys right there?
Hey, that's a great question, Braylon. We appreciate your call, big dog. Let's first finish up with this first part because I thought it was a great question. Everybody needs to answer it. Jhead, throw your 2 cents in there on Perry Thompson, Cam Coleman, KJ Bolden.
Almost a direct mirror of what Cole just said. It's Cam Coleman, number one. If you're going to feel comfortable about any of them, I definitely feel more comfortable about him than any of the others. And yes, he just visited Georgia. And he's going to visit LSU, and he's going to visit Florida State. And he is a 5-star blue chip. These guys are going to take their visits, and they're going to be sure about what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, I think the way that Hugh Freeze is going to feature the wide receiver position, the need that they can sell, and the relationship that Marcus Davis has, and that I think Hugh Freeze will have by the time it's all said and done, will help us stay in a pole position with Cam Coleman. I don't have a great feeling. I know what is being reported, and I know that Perry Thompson absolutely has interest in Auburn. But at the end of the day, to me, he's Tony Mitchell made over. I just don't see that happening. And with KJ Bolden, surprisingly, I think we've moved up significantly for him. I think Georgia and Ohio State are still going to be 1 and 2, but you are getting him on campus for an official visit. And let's see what happens after that. Can we change his mind? And I know that they've changed the rule with regard to official visits, and kids now post July 1 are going to be able to take as many official visits as they want. At the end of the day, let's see how they can fit it all in. Okay. There are only 4 weekends in June that you can take official visits. 1 weekend in July, and then your season gets started come the end of August. We all know how high school coaches do not want kids having to take a bunch of visits during the season. So I don't see that rule necessarily changing the picture all that much. So if you get one of the 5 official visits or the 4 in June, that's going to put you on good footing with KJ Bolden. So let's see how we close there, but definitely probably running third at best for KJ at the moment.
Sheath Schieber would be telling us to pump the brakes on those guys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, especially KJ. If he doesn't end up at Georgia, I'll buy shots on the liquor bus at the supper club.
There you go.
Now, second part of Braylon's question was the transfer portal guys: Larry Nixon, Ukwu, and Lamonius Craig, the wide receiver from Colorado. Auburn gets 2 of those guys at least?
I think so. I feel comfortable on saying yes on Larry Nixon for sure. On Lamonius Craig, you have a prediction in there, Jeffrey, and I trust you more than I trust most. And my intel would suggest that it is an Auburn versus Arizona battle at the moment. That's what I've got it pegged as, or that's who the known players are. Maybe he could return to Colorado. I don't truly know. But right now it feels like an Auburn-Arizona battle, and I would side with Auburn. And with Ukwu, I think it's pretty wide open, if I'm going to be honest. I thought Ole Miss was trending probably this time last week. Now, after his visit to Missouri, I honestly don't know. Is he going to continue to take visits? Is he going to – I believe Cole pulled the podcast where he said he wants to have a decision so that he can enroll for June 1 so he can be there with the summer enrollees. So he's going to have to make a decision pretty quick, which makes me think if he's going to visit Kansas and Cal, he's going to have to get it done here relatively soon, though I don't really put them that much in it, if I'm going to be honest. But could I tell you which one he's favoring right now between the teams he's visited? Absolutely not.
You talked about Lamonius Craig. His recruitment's reminding me a lot of Tyron Lawrence, the transfer from Vanderbilt who visited Auburn, the basketball guy who visited Auburn. A lot of buzz about him after he left. Hell, I thought he would commit within 48 hours. It's been 2 weeks. Same for Lamonius Craig. I actually said on the recruiting show Thursday, if he's not committed in 48 hours, I'll be shocked and because he had graduated from Colorado. Well, here we are Sunday night, 72 hours later, 96. I don't know the math, but nothing. So, but it's like Tyron Lawrence. It's Auburn until I don't know different. I mean, I still think Tyron Lawrence. Well, let me just put it this way. My sources at Auburn still feel good about Tyron Lawrence.
There you go.
My sources at Auburn still feel good about Lamonius Craig.
Okay.
That's all I've got. That's all I can go on. So Larry Nixon is visiting West Virginia today and tomorrow. He will announce his decision on Tuesday. Unless something changes, that dude is coming to Auburn, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not. This is not some hot take here. I think everybody here agrees, and anybody that's been following his recruitment. But as me and Cole have alluded to, when you get to interview these kids in person after their visit, Larry Nixon was just. I mean, he was having to wipe his mouth because he was salivating so much. I mean, he was loving it. So that'll be something. Tuesday, we'll know on Larry Nixon, and surely by the end of this week, man, we've got to know something on. Was it May 21st next week?
Yes.
Yeah,
he'll need to make a decision here pretty quick. The enrollment starts, I think, sometime of middle of next week, right, for the first term.
Well, I know that a lot of people are reporting back to campus May the 16th, so that's this week. Like,
okay,
the wide receivers are coming back. Hey, appreciate you, Romulus. I'm gonna get to you in just a second. But a lot of the wide receivers are coming back so they can start throwing with Peyton Thorne, the new quarterback. So their summers are being cut short, and they'll be coming back to campus. So a lot of players coming back this week, and you could think the summer enrollees won't be too far off. We'll go to Romulus real quick. Hey, Romulus, appreciate the tip, big dog, but we ask that y'all don't do that, man. We appreciate y'all just watching and listening, man. It's a bonus. We appreciate that, but we certainly don't ask for it. What are y'all's thoughts on the civil suit Onto Victory is facing? Civil suit?
I don't know much about that, brother.
Jhead, I hope you know, because that's the first I've heard of it.
I honestly don't. When I saw that question come across there, I started Googling right away because that's the first I've heard of a civil suit being involved with OTB.
Romulus, why don't you call in and talk to us about that?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd like to know that.
I've never heard about that. That's the first I've heard of anything.
You would think AL.com would have been all over that.
Yeah, that's the story they're waiting on right there.
Yeah, give us a call, Romulus. Keep us going there, Zach. Hey, good stuff, Braylon. Good stuff, big dog. Appreciate you.
1941. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Hey guys, this is Josh. I'm calling in from San Antonio, Texas. I just have a really quick question about the transfer portal and how maybe the current guys that we don't have on campus yet may be affecting who we're targeting in certain position groups.
Josh, one quick question for you, man. Have you heard what Charles Barkley said about the women in San Antonio? Just wanting to know if that was true or not.
Well, I can't really speak on that myself. My wife's sitting right here.
I hear you, Josh. I hear
you. Good answer. This man is happily married.
So I guess what Charles Barkley has said is pretty accurate.
I love it.
All right, so Josh wants to know about the transfer portal guys not on campus yet, and is that affecting other position groups? I think that's right, Josh. Is that right?
Oh, we don't have them anymore, but yeah.
Okay.
That's the question.
Jhead? I only wanted to clarify, like, does he mean like the guys that are signed, like Peyton Thorne? Who's the Appalachian State?
Jalen McLeod, Jaden Muskrat.
Those guys, yeah. Jaden Muskrat. Oh, another big pickup.
So what I'm assuming is that he's alluding to the fact that we haven't had any other commitments at this point, and are those guys that haven't reported yet affecting the recruitment of potentially other guys. I assume that's what he's indicating.
Okay, well, that makes more sense, yeah.
So could Jalen McLeod potentially being in this class affect Isaac Ukwu? I'm sure that it could, though I think they're very different players, and I think the pitch was very different to both, even though they might be moonlighting at the same position.
Mm-hmm. Same with Same with Montana Lamonius Craig and Caleb Burton.
Yeah,
exactly.
Different guys, different type guys.
Very different type guys. And so just to kind of give my insight into how transfer portal recruiting goes, it's very different from the dog and pony show of high school recruiting. It's very nuts and bolts. Mm-hmm. And I actually had a conversation with a coach not too long ago that was like doing a recruiting visit on Clemson's campus. You know what I mean? It's very different, like to go to Clemson and recruit a player that's in the transfer portal versus going to do it in-home, you know what I mean, at somebody's house somewhere.
Yeah.
But kids want to know very quickly, how are you going to feature me? What has been your productivity of getting guys to the NFL and the development piece? What's my brand going to be? What's my NIL deal going to be?
Yep.
You answer those questions. Okay. And then it's like, all right, I like you. I'll get back to you. It's not, hey, there's still a relational part to it. Don't get me wrong, but we're not building relationships over the course of 24 months. It's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Let's get down to business. And if I like what you got to say, I'll holler back at you. That was kind of how it goes.
I think coaches probably appreciate that as compared to high school recruiting, where it's, it's all over the place. You never know sometimes you don't know where you stand. It's with transfer portal recruiting, the guy comes in and visits. First of all, you got to talk him into that.
Yep.
You sell, the first time you talk on the phone, when you offer the guy, you go, all right, well, here's our situation. You'd fit right in right here. You'd probably be a starter. Would you like to come visit? And they'd be like, yes. All right. Got you on campus. Here's everything. And then decision's coming soon.
Yeah. Let us know.
Business, right?
It's not, hey, give me your mom's number. Let me go meet her and sit down and eat dinner with her.
Yeah. No, you don't have to.
These guys have been to the puppet show and they've seen the strings. You know what I mean? Like literally is business.
And when it comes to coaches complaining about the transfer portal, because a lot of them don't like it, then a lot of them do like it. It's split. They probably go, if it's going to be that easy, if it's going to be that cut and dry, I can live with it. We can recruit that, make that, either happen or not, and know where we stand.
Yeah. I think if you're in Georgia's position, you hate the transfer portal, right? And if you're in Auburn's position, you absolutely love the transfer portal because it gives you the opportunity to add talent that you wouldn't otherwise. So whatever you sit on the spectrum of high school recruiting probably drives your interest in how the transfer portal lays itself out.
Yep.
Good stuff, Josh. We appreciate it, man. Our best to your smoking hot and skinny wife.
There you go. Happy Mother's Day, Josh.
Happy Mother's Day.
3122. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Gracie from Birmingham, Alabama. I just want to ask a question. How likely is it that I met a guy a while back that's linebacker coach from at Thompson, and he says we don't get Jalen Bakwe to Alabama commit corner, and I was wondering how likely is that, and how likely we could land more guys like DeMarcus Riddick and Justin Williams and all these other 5-stars we have on the board. Is there a possibility we could land 7 to 8 5-stars this year, and maybe next year also?
Hey, great question, man.
Yep.
These are those. What do we call them? Statement wins.
Yeah. Statement wins.
How many statement wins does Auburn? Jalen Mbakwe certainly would be a statement win. DeMarcus Riddick, absolutely. Unfortunately, I think both of those guys right now, if signing day were tomorrow, they sign with Alabama.
Yeah, I just made a trip, Gracie, to Clay Chalkville High School, the home of Jalen Mbakwe. And he was very nice to me, and he said, hey, I've shut it down, going to Bama. So I would say that one's over. As far as DeMarcus Riddick goes, everything that I've learned about DeMarcus is that Auburn's going to be a player until the end.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one.
And he could decommit from Georgia. He could flip at any time to Alabama or Auburn. I mean, I wouldn't rule that out completely. Right now, it seems like Alabama might have the upper hand if that were to happen today. But, there's a long way to go here.
Oh, yeah, it's not over. Now, I think Mbakwe's over, like Cole said.
That one's over. I think that one's over. I feel safe saying that. He told me to my face, hey, I'm done. I'm not going to take
good for him, man.
Which, you appreciate that, right?
Yeah. Because as a reporter, you're not chasing your tail. And if he's that straightforward with you, Cole, he's probably that straightforward with the coaching staff.
I'd say so.
Now, the others, Cam Coleman. We all feel like Auburn. You know, if tomorrow was signing day, I've got Mbakwe to Alabama, Riddick to Alabama. With signing day next week, I don't really know on Riddick. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. I mean, if you had asked me a month ago, I'd have said I think Auburn's got a really good shot with DeMarcus Riddick. Matter of fact, I think if he doesn't go to Georgia, he'll go to Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore. Cam Coleman. I think she mentioned Justin Green.
Yeah. I think that's who she was talking about, Justin Green.
She said Justin Williams, but I think she meant Justin Green.
Yeah, Auburn's got a great shot with Justin Green. Great shot.
I'm trying to think. I think Casey Poe to me is a statement win.
That's a statement. Absolutely.
Casey Poe,
as you reported, yesterday, he will officially visit Auburn and several other schools, but Auburn definitely in that one, no doubt. Walker White, I think that might be his top target. I think that's number one for him.
Casey Poe, DeMarcus Riddick, Joseph Phillips,
huge target.
Joseph Phillips, big time Jack from Tuskegee. Who
would y'all consider Daniel Calhoun?
Yeah. Hell yes.
Massive statement win. And the fact that he's even considering an official visit to me.
Yep.
That
KJ Bolden's another one, just like that.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Perry Thompson.
Perry. Yeah.
Everybody that Braylon asked about. Yeah. Those statement wins, man. That's going to be a very hot topic for us from now until December, because that's what we're really judging this class on. Personally, right? As a group, as this show, and as the recruiting show at Auburn Live, we're really judging this class on statement wins.
As things stand today, with regard to, and I think her question was purely 5-star guys. I would say, if we're putting our prognosticator hat on, 1 to 2 5-stars. And when I say 1 to 2, I think Cam Coleman is your 1. And then throughout the season, do you make a move on somebody? Does the product on the field, does what you can offer off the field, does the relational aspect of it come full circle? Do you find that second one? So 1 to 2. And to me, 1 to 2, we haven't had a 5-star since when? What? Owen Papo? Bo Nix?
Owen would probably be the last one.
Bo was after Owen, right?
No, they were in the same class.
No, same class.
Well, then there were 2 5-stars. I was with Rivals at the time. I think both of them were 5-star.
2 5-stars. In the next class, we had the kid from Hoover committed that flipped on signing day. That would have been the 5-star. Or no, George Pickens was the same class.
I think George was the same class.
He was in 3 in one class.
Yeah, and we haven't had a 5-star since.
Gracie was actually talking about Justin Williams, linebacker out of Oak Ridge in Texas.
Okay.
She was saying that 247 had him warm to Auburn, like on their recruiting prediction thing. Is that apparently Auburn is one of the teams that are a leader for him pretty much. And that's what she was asking about, is Justin Williams out of Texas. I think he's a 5-star linebacker for 247,
right?
But I think he's a 4-star for On 3.
Okay.
Well, actually, that's the first I've heard of him.
Yeah. We haven't heard his name. Usually that's a pretty good sign for us, but you never know. We'll have to check that one out.
I'm sure that's one that Aldridge is working that we may not be privy to, obviously, but
yeah,
to pull a kid like that out of Texas, with the way that Sarkisian and Jimbo have recruited, and then the way Alabama has recruited the state of Texas, Oklahoma, that's going to be a really hard one to do. Just geographically speaking, knowing where the recruiting strengths are for this staff, and the recruiting strengths, in my honest opinion, are in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Those are going to be the strengths for this year's class. And if you're going to pull a 5-star, it's likely going to be out of one of those 3 states.
Mm-hmm. Gracie, I think she's a multi-time caller, man. She's always got some good stuff.
Yeah. She's pretty active. She's pretty active on Twitter as well. I've seen her there.
Is that Gracie Skywalker?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Gracie Skywalker? I like old Gracie Skywalker with the pink logo.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Look at Jeffrey knowing his Twitter.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Let's see. 6848. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Bryce from Beulah.
Bryce from Beulah.
BB.
Oh.
All right, guys. So I was listening to Wolf call in a few callers ago, and I'm in the same boat. I think where Wolf was talking about the only hitting 1,000 subscribers and all that, where he was getting that number from, is Hope put out a story earlier this week And he had mentioned that Auburn had just hit 1,000 monthly kind of subscriptions. And in comparison, also in there, Hoke was saying that someone like Ole Miss. Now, I imagine all the
I forgot about that.
stuff we stirred up there around Christmas time definitely helped it. But in comparison, he said that Ole Miss was around about 6,000 monthly subscriptions and all that, and how, when the whole thing with Kiffin was going on and Neil McCready and all that was like, oh yeah, Auburn with their big war chest of NIL and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think anyone really knows how much is in there. Who knows? But I think what Wolf was like really trying to say is, if we're all on here complaining about recruiting and you got a 247 account, you got a Rivals, you got an On3, I mean, you're looking at $40, $50, right there. Why don't you just go with one, drop the $24 or whatever? So I tell you, the day I told you guys, the day that Freeze was hired, I went on and subscribed. You can't bitch about recruiting if you ain't kicking in. So do it.
I like it.
But Jhead, you might be able to kind of relate to this. I told you guys I was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
And every time we get a new commander, incoming and outgoing, we always do a climate survey. So what it is, they come in there, they ask you a bunch of questions. What could I have done better? This, that, and the third. So I don't know if this is necessarily within your reach, Jay Lee. Sorry if that is coming off as any other way, but I'm just saying maybe something like that for Brett Whiteside. I don't know if necessarily getting him in on like the Sunday show and we just pepper him with questions and all that, but maybe creating a thread or something. Maybe we can get like some questions or something, just something so he can see kind of what the base is, because the consensus to me is the only people that really know about On to Victory are the guys that are on the corner and other sites, right? I just don't know if they've done a great job of getting it out to, distributing it great. The only other time you see it is when Freeze or, Pearl are doing their interviews and they have the backdrop. But I mean, if you're not on the message board, how do you find this? So I don't know.
How do you know the true impact of it? I hear you, Bryce. I hear you. And listen, as a low to middle class man, my entire life, when I see those coaches up on the jumbotron asking for money, I immediately go and buy a beer. I don't have time. I don't want to hear what they got. They're not talking to me because I don't have money to give to them.
Right.
And I don't know. And their message is, listen, this is going to be big for us as a program, recruiting and what. I'm not listening to you. I don't really know how it affects Auburn. And like Bryce said, unless you're on the message board seeing these recruits commit to other schools, or the transfers committing to other schools, or Auburn, or to Auburn, to see the true impact of NIL in this day and age, it really doesn't make a damn to you.
Bryce, are you still there on the phone?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a quick question. Content creation. Is OTV putting anything out from a content standpoint that would be advantageous for a subscriber? Are they doing anything to kind of give you some feed, or is it, something for your dollar?
For me, just, given the monthly thing, I think I do the $34, the Bo Jackson one. It's just like, whatever. I spend $35 just on, and gas stations and all that throughout the month. So it's not a big deal to me. And again, I'm out here in Texas. So a lot of the stuff that I have seen where they talk about a newsletter, and I get emails from time to time, and, different signings. And I heard A-Day now. I don't know if that's, has anything to do with the weather, but it seemed like the consensus on that A-Day thing was a complete debacle on having like a kind of, I don't know if it was a meet and greet with the players, and I didn't really understand from the email. So I don't really know, but yeah, I don't think it's like, to me, I'm paying the $34, fine. Use it however you want it. I don't care. But I could see other people are saying, well, what is this going to? I want my $35 going to, basketball.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I don't think it works like that.
No, it goes more to a general fund, to the best of my understanding. I think they can earmark to a certain degree.
From the general fund.
Right, from the general fund. But I don't know that necessarily the donor at that level necessarily can drive which direction it's going to. But that's a question for Brett. But I think what I've heard, or the feedback that I've gotten more oftentimes than not, is it's not just – I think you have a lot of people like you, Bryce, that are just, you know what this is going towards, and how this is benefiting the university that we all care about.
Football.
But there are certain people that want some content for their dollar. They see a subscription site as entertainment, right? This is something for them where they get to log on and they're part of a community. And if you had some similar content that was being produced by OTV, I think that might be more enticing. And that's probably the direction that OTV is trending, I believe. I think a lot of collectives are starting to realize that. I know that Alabama's collective just did that. They hired, who did they did? Longtime Alabama writer. I'm trying to think.
Cecil Hurt.
No, not Cecil. I'll think of it here in just a second. He's fantastic. He worked for The Athletic for years. But anyway,
let me ask Bryce a question. Bryce, Jhead wanting to know about content and stuff. I did a podcast with Jason Campbell 2 weeks ago. It was for OTV. We interviewed Bobby Pierce. We interviewed the women's golfer. She was fantastic. And then Johnny Rogers, we talked to her. I never saw that interview. Is that something that was exclusive to OTV subscribers? Yes, Zach?
Yeah. If so, I didn't know about it either.
Yes. So, look, like I got it on the Victory pulled up right here. So
Aaron
for the $34 a month, you get 90% of that money goes directly to the student athletes.
Right.
You get a premium podcast and exclusive student athlete content at that donation level. You get a $30 voucher once you sign up. And well, it's annually, and then you get a sticker, you get a newsletter, and then you get an invitation to attend one player meet and greet event. And then you get 10% discount in the merch store after your voucher purchase each year.
That's not bad, man, for $34 a month.
Yeah. So they are producing content.
Yeah, that's good.
So that podcast, Zach, was exclusive to the OTV subscribers. Like
according to the website, yes.
Okay. Aaron Shuttles, yes, I think he works back in my early days with Rivals. He was at the Alabama site, if I'm not mistaken.
He was at the Alabama site with Rivals. Then he's been with The Athletic. He's obviously Aaron's been highly successful for in a lot of different media platforms, but now he's exclusively working for their collective, producing content, stories, podcasts, all kinds of things to really kind of ramp up the interest level so that the consumer is getting kind of more bang for their buck.
Bryce, we appreciate that call, man.
Yeah, can I ask just one more question?
For sure.
I want to let y'all answer. I was just kind of looking at just the transfer portal, and I know we ain't even played this season yet, but I think, Keith talked about this, a few months ago, is looking at the roster, and you see that Freeze and this staff has brought in, potentially three new linebackers. We're trying to add these wide receivers, adding all these positions really outside of
O-line.
DB. Do you think this is going to kind of turn a lot of these kids off? I'm just saying, what are your thoughts kind of looking forward to maybe the 24 season, where Keith would say, looks like these guys are going to have another big portal class again before they can get this thing stocked up, because
one more maybe
definitely going to be some attrition of these guys leaving, and then we're taking a bunch of one-year guys. What are just kind of your general thoughts? And thank you, guys.
Cole, do you have something you want to jump in here with?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, they're never going to neglect the portal completely, no matter how good the roster is. What the point they're trying to get to is, hey, we can go get the very best players out of the portal because we can focus on those guys and not have to build a roster out of the portal, right? So it's never going to go away. Like, they're not just going to not look at the portal, but in the next year, well, first of all, you've gotten, I think it's 16. Is that the total so far, Jhead, or is it 15?
Total 16. We got 12 in the early cycle, and then you've added 4.
Okay. So 16, maybe more to come, right? That is a huge haul. They were calling Lane Kiffin the Portal King, and I think he got around the same number, right? Or close to 20, something like that. So this is a huge haul. That's you hope that's going to lessen the haul next year because you're getting the roster closer to the shape you want it to be in, depth-wise, talent-wise, everything. I would say maybe a smaller haul right now, but you never know what the attrition is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus there's a lot of grad transfers here, and that was by design. They had to get some grad transfers, some guys that were really experienced who only have 1 year. That way, they first of all, they can plug and play. Number one. Number two, you don't waste a scholarship. You get it back when they graduate next year. So I'd expect, like Keith was saying, another big portal haul. Again, all of this while trying to kill it in the high school classes too and get it right.
Yeah. To answer Bryce's question, I don't believe it's going to affect high school recruiting. I honestly don't,
Yeah, I hear you.
because of the change to the 85-man rule, and you're having basically unlimited scholarships as of today. Now, I think that goes away. I think the NCAA is actually trying to change it back to the 25-man rule for the 25 class. But I think right now, like Cole said, with the number of grad transfers you've taken, and I think at last count, we've at least taken 6 one-year guys, maybe 7.
Plus guys that could go pro after they play, like Dylan Wade, somebody like that.
Exactly. You're going to have more roster flexibility there. What this does to me is it increases the product on the field, which allows you probably to be in more living rooms come December than you would have been if you put a big 4 spot on the board, if we're being completely honest. So getting Auburn competitive quickly, well, I can understand Bryce's fear of us loading up a roster with multi-year guys who are going to maybe deter players from coming in seeing immediate playing time. I think the trade-off is you got a competitive product that you're putting on the field while also getting some roster relief for these one-year guys. You're going to have ample things to sell.
Well, one of the reasons I'm so high on Caleb Burton, and I think he's going to be pretty good for Auburn, is they weren't really reaching for guys with 4 years or 3 years left. If they were willing to do that at a position of great need, that guy's probably pretty good, I would think, if they want to use that scholarship for that.
Or his top end is anyway. If he hits his top end, he's all SEC type.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you want your goal here is to get to the point where you're Alabama and Georgia, and you're just plucking, you're filling gaps. You're not filling rooms, and you've got to bridge you've got to bridge from now until Hugh Freeze's 2023, but really the 2024 class is ready to go.
Yes,
like all this young talent that he presumably will sign in 2024, and after closing 2023 pretty strong in the high school rank, you would think maybe. He's got to have big portal this year, maybe another big portal, maybe not so big, but another big. And then you'd hope it starts decreasing pretty quickly to where these high school. So your transfer portal is going down, but your high school talent's coming up as far as experience goes and overall talent. You just got to bridge that gap until Keldrick Falks Jr. That class. Those guys are probably till the 2024 guys are what? Second or third year,
I would think,
ready to be major contributors.
Sure.
Right. And I'm with you. I don't think that you're going to be, because you're probably potentially going to be taking 20 transfer guys in this class, right?
Yep.
I think that's a very realistic number at this point with what we've got left on the board. I don't see us taking now, like Cole said, who knows what the attrition is going to be. We could be changing our tune this time next year. But I think looking more in the 12 range next year would probably be more realistic with some of the holes that you're going to plug. And then maybe you trim it down a little bit more to, like you said, where it's a free agency period and you're just, you're taking 5-6 guys from the portal and you're really relying on your high school recruiting and your development there. But I don't see us taking another 20 guys from the portal next year. I think if that's happening, either we have more attrition than I'm expecting or something went bad wrong. You're having to recruit over some guys.
Yeah.
You hope this number can just constantly declines.
Decrease.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, Bryce. We appreciate your call, man. Loyal subscriber and listener. Appreciate you, big dog.
4003. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, this is Carter Mullen from Brookhaven, Georgia. I'm just calling y'all from Caroline Beach down in Florida. I just wanted to call y'all and ask, what do you think, and I know this is a generic question, but what do you think is the most impactful thing that Hugh Freeze has done for our program? I know recruiting might be the obvious answer, but I mean, I look at it and I see so many different areas where we have just improved drastically to a point where you can't, we can't put a finger on how bad it was under Harsin and how bad it was under the end with Malzahn, but how amazing it has been before even one football season under Hugh Freeze. So I'll shut up and I just want to hear y'all take on that.
Appreciate your call, Carter. If I'm not mistaken, Carter was engaged a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was.
I think
you're right.
All right. Congratulations.
So we're actually down at the beach right now. My fiance is probably listening in on me.
Okay.
We will. So the most impactful thing for Hugh, I've got a couple of things on ideas. I'm gonna go to shoot the Jhead. Impactful thing Hugh Freeze has done.
Obviously, I think recruiting is the easy button to answer, but to me, it's cohesion, both within the program and exterior to the program. Prior to, and at the same time, being comfortable enough to be his own man and not be influenced necessarily on how to drive his program. But I think Hugh Freeze is a savvy enough coach. This is his second time being an SEC head coach. He understands that you need boosters around your program that are loyal to the program, are going to help you, give you the things monetarily that you need to be in the upper tier, right? Because we all know that if you don't have those people involved, if they're not giving at a maximum level, then realistically your ability to win is lessened significantly. So I think, number one, getting everybody on the same page is the biggest thing that you can do from a program. He's done that. He's won the fan base over for the most part. I think you still got a few detractors out there, but whatever, man. I think 90% of the Auburn fans are on board with Hugh Freeze right now and his vision for the program. And then the team in and of itself, he sold the guys on his vision for making them better, having them buy into the program, being better than 5 and 7. Okay, being better than the product that's been on the field the last 2 years. Do you want to play for SEC championships? Then do it the way that I'm asking you to. And I think Hugh Freeze has done that. He's flipped the script to a degree. Now he's got to continue to do that throughout the offseason. But to me, it's the cohesion, both within and outside those walls.
Cool.
Yep. Recruiting is where my mind goes, but I'm going to be more specific than that. Offensive line turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, we have not seen it on the field yet. It doesn't matter if you're a 5-star offensive lineman. Sometimes that doesn't even work out. Okay, we've seen that. We've now even seen it at Alabama with certain guys that have transferred out or didn't play very well. So you have that going on, and you got to make sure that works out. But as far as numbers go, which before you even get to talent on the offensive line, the numbers have been the biggest problem with Auburn's offensive line. And I can't tell you, since I've been working for On 3, and even before that, the messages, why can't Auburn get offensive linemen? What is the problem here? What is wrong with Auburn?
That's probably one of those.
God almighty. I got so tired of that question. I just didn't know how to answer it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, Hugh Freeze decided that was priority number one, or at least at the very top of the list. And he's got 9 now, or 10. Is it 9 or 10? I can't remember exactly, but he's right around there. All the guys he's brought in. So 9. Okay. Ridiculous. In the amount of time he's been there and what Auburn's gone through with the offensive line woes, that's number one for me, Carter.
Big picture here, and I've said this before, Hugh Freeze is the most impactful thing he's done is given Auburn fans hope.
Yeah.
He's getting, but the reasons how has given the Auburn fans hope is for everything that you just mentioned, Jhead, and it's everything that you just mentioned, Cole, is all those things that build up to this, which is hope.
Yep, that's true.
8861. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
Kevin, what's up, Kevin?
I got 2 questions about DeMarcus Reddick and Perry Thompson.
Good one, Fat. All right. Good stuff, Kevin. Perry Thompson, DeMarcus Riddick, 2 5-stars. Somebody's got him a 5-star. I don't know. Both of those guys.
I think On 3 has them both as 5 stars. I think Perry's also a 5-star with 24/7, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But Kevin, DeMarcus Riddick currently committed to Georgia. Alabama's right there. Auburn's right there. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but it's going to be tough for Auburn.
Yeah. I think we would probably favor other teams in those recruitments as of today, but that's today. Once again, you're in the mix, which is where you want to be at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If you can stay in the mix and you get it down to signing day, then maybe it's a coin flip and you land it. But the important thing right now is for you not to get blown out of the water in this recruitment by the end of June, to where you're nowhere to be seen and you're not even on the periphery of these guys' thought processes. So I think we're where we need to be. Can we continue to do that? That'll be the interesting thing. And then we'll kind of see where it all shakes out on signing day.
Hey, Kevin, real great stuff. First of all, Zach, do we have a lot of folks online?
3 more.
Okay, let me be real quick. We're going off of the assumption or the prognostication that Auburn's going to be a 7-win team.
Yeah.
Like, we're not, man, dude, I'm not saying Auburn's not, at some point 8-2 going into, who knows what's going to happen this season. But, if Auburn has the season that we and listen, a lot of people I talked about hope. I put a poll on the corner, Auburn Live's message board, over under for Auburn's win total being 6.5. 96% of the people who polled in that on that message, 96% picked over. Now that's some sunshine.
Yep.
But I think we all had 6 wins with Robbie Ashford.
Yes.
And we all think Peyton Thorne's a game or 2 better.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, and listen, that's probably being realistic.
Yeah. I think 7-5 is realistic. And
Now,
like I said, unless you're Brad Bohannon, you smash that over.
Oh gosh!
But who's to say Auburn doesn't finish 9-3 or 8-4 with a bowl win at 9-4? And if that's the case, if Auburn creates a huge buzz this fall, we're going to have to revisit all this again. I mean, so we're throwing these out when we're talking about recruiting. We're going on the assumption or that Auburn's a 7-5 team 6 months from now.
Right. Because that's how we see the picture today.
Sure.
But as the picture changes, well, then that recruiting narrative starts to change along with it.
And it goes back to me and Cole's, chicken or the egg. If Auburn's winning on the field or putting up, it's gonna affect the living room.
Hey, if Auburn's putting up some good passing numbers, like they seem to might have a chance to do, that'll help with Perry Thompson.
Yes.
I don't see how it could hurt.
No.
And getting a win on the road, if you can pull off an upset against Georgia or Bama, or at least compete deep into that game, that changes a lot of conversations around a lot of these recruiting battles.
Give me A&M with Jimbo and Petrino in a cage match by the time it's all over, screaming at each other. That's what I want to see.
I've noticed there's some people speaking out right now saying that Auburn's gonna beat Bama. I've been seeing that on our board on Twitter.
Where's Keith Niebuhr when you need him?
Yeah, this goes right back to what you were saying, Jeffrey. It's not logic, but it's hope.
Yeah.
Don't use logic here. If you're an Auburn fan, your logic's sort of fading from you a little bit because of all the hope, and the perception is really good right now.
That's right.
You know what? Get through this season without a Penn State 2022.
Yes.
Without a Georgia 2021.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, can't have that.
Get through this season without those games and a respectable 7-5 at worst.
Yeah. We talking.
Look,
you're on the come up at that point, right? This upward trajectory.
There you go.
You're not getting blown out. You're winning the games you're supposed to win for the most part. Recruits can see that. They want to be a part of it. The Auburn fan base is positive because you've exceeded expectation. You know what I mean? And then hopefully you go 9-3 the next year, and then it starts to continue on. You're building something at that point. I think what lost everybody is in Gus's situation, it was so up and down. You'd be 7-5 one year,
right.
and then you jump to
10-3,
and then you're back to 6-4, so that the consistency wasn't there. And then obviously with Harsin, there was consistency. Just not the consistency that you necessarily wanted.
Yeah, you can't say he wasn't consistent. You can't call him that.
Auburn last year with Harsin and Robbie Ashford was 6-6, 5-7.
5-7, and that was actually if I'm going to be honest, if Carnell doesn't take over at that point, I don't know that we get to 5-7. I think that team was so downtrodden and mentally beat up.
You don't beat A&M. You certainly don't, and the atmosphere at A&M game was not like it was.
And you get thumped in Tuscaloosa.
Yes.
Jeffrey, we were both at the Arkansas game. It was pitiful, man.
Oh,
pitiful. I knew after that game that was it.
That was one of those games where you don't want to talk to recruits afterwards.
Yes,
you just want to go.
It's almost embarrassing.
Like, hey, what do you think?
Right.
you see playing time now, don't you?
Like, you didn't happen to stick around for the second half, did you? You were underneath the stadium at that point, right?
Right.
If you're Auburn fans, I think you kind of look. I know people hate this team; they probably don't want to look at them. Look at what Tennessee did under Heupel. He came in, had to flip the roster, had a solid, first season, and then they've hit that next level. And if you go look at Tennessee's recruiting, they're recruiting at a level right now after that on-field production. That's the model, not the 1 year surprise everyone with Gus, and then you go back down to a weird baseline. You need that trajectory where you're building real depth and really build momentum in the program.
Absolutely. And you're gonna have reset years, but let's have 3 years of consistent build. You know what I mean? Where we look like we're climaxing towards something.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Good stuff there, Zach, in the back. Well, you got some more?
Yeah, 3 more callers.
Okay. All right, my bad. I'll shut up.
3365. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from? 3365. You're live.
I knew I should have shut up.
It was me, man. I got on a roll. I neebsed it.
All right, we'll move on here. 0506. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Auburn.
Oh,
all right.
Hey, listen. With all the 24s and some 25s and all that, we talked about, different ones here. I was just wondering how our numbers are for next year. I know we're trying to. So right now, we're just in a place of trying to improve certain rooms, aren't we? We pretty well.
Yep.
Are we short a little bit somewhere currently?
That's good. That's a good question, Hogbone. Jhead, you're more in tune here with the numbers. Position linebacker.
So right now at linebacker, I think we've got 7 in the room, contingent on how you look at Jake Levant. And then what we also don't know is you've got a young man coming in from Atlanta in Mr. T. Love that could play linebacker, could play safety. So there's some versatility there. And you have to account for variable change when it comes to position change. I think we're pretty solid, Hogbone. Overall, we're at 78 scholarships. You have the opportunity to put 2 more walk-ons that were on scholarship last year, and Jake Levant and Sean Jackson. You can put them back on scholarship. And to be honest, when both those guys have been on the field, I don't see the real drop-off in being a non-scholarship player. To me, they're scholarship worthy. So if you're putting them on scholarship, that's not a bad move, in my opinion. But I think what you're trying to do right now is you're trying to get to around 83 scholarships, and then you're going to see if any grad transfers pop in late or anything of that nature that kind of feels it fits a need for you. With regard to the guys that are left on the board, you've got linebacker Larry Nixon, Jack linebacker Isaac Ukwu, wide receiver Montana Lamonius Craig, wide receiver Shane Hooks, wide receiver Jair Shorter. And I believe that there's some interest on our part from the wide receiver from UTSA, Jair Franklin.
Zachary Franklin.
Zachary Franklin, that's it. Yeah. Excuse me. Guys, you don't want me in a spelling bee. But I think you're looking to try to grab at least 3 to 4 of those guys if you can. And then obviously the junior college offensive lineman, Markel Bell. You're not going to land every one of those. I feel comfortable saying that. I mean, I think if you do, great. But with how fluid recruiting is, I can't foresee you pegging every one of those. So you're going to try to get 3 to 4 out of that group, and then maybe some grad transfers pop in or another safety jumps in or something like that you've got some interest in from adding a player.
Yep. 78. That's about right, man. 78 plus the 2.
Yep, 78 plus the 2 gets you to 80. So you got some variance there. So if you don't
add 3 more from the portal.
Exactly. That gets you up to 83.
There you go. Hey, good stuff, Hogbone. We appreciate you, big dog. Loyal subscriber and listener, man. Big time. Hogbone, we appreciate you, big dog.
Awesome. Last call of the night, 0049. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Henratty from Ellick City.
Hand ready.
Hand ready, yeah.
What's up?
Not much, y'all. Just appreciate y'all doing this every Sunday night, and appreciate all the great content on the board. And I just wanted to ask y'all. I know our boy Frederick down in Mobile posted that update on the Mobile guys, and just wanted to get your opinion on the $3.5 million for Ryan Williams. And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Hanratty. If you're not familiar with Hanratty, what he's alluding to, Frederick 90 is a fantastic board poster for us at Auburn Live on 3, the corner. He's got a lot of inside knowledge of some of the recruits down there in Lower Alabama. He posted on the board earlier this week, or last week, since Sunday is a new week, late last week, I should say, that he threw some numbers out there about Ryan Williams, the 2025 5-star wide receiver who's committed to Alabama, who's been showing some interest in Auburn. Did he say $3.5 million?
Yeah, and go ahead, Jeffrey, and then I'll jump in.
Well, I hate to throw that out there but this is according to Frederick's 90. But I will say, Frederick, he posted, I believe, that he didn't feel very good about Ryan Williams.
Yeah,
right,
Jhead? Alabama was going to keep him committed because of the amount of NIL they were willing to commit.
Okay, that's what he's alluding to.
Recruitment. Look, the premise of what Frederick is saying, I kind of agree with. I think Alabama is going to pay up on this one because he's a once in a generation type player. I think Auburn's probably going to try to match whatever Alabama puts out there, if at all possible. When you start talking $3.5 million, those are quarterback numbers. Okay. And how this market shakes out right now, a $3.5 million offer would completely reset the market for the wide receiver position. Typically speaking, I would feel more comfortable saying somewhere between $500,000 and down would be a relatively competitive offer to somebody of Ryan Williams' nature. I think that would be about adequate for what is really out there for NIL numbers. I think there's some inflation and I'm not saying that this is this poster per se. I think Frederick's great, and he's always provided really wonderful information. But I think there are certain players in the NIL space that would love to inflate numbers so as more or less to kind of drive a market to a degree. And I would tell you that most teams right now, your upper competitive level teams, are working off a budget of about $5 to $7 million per team. 3.5 would eat up more than half of that budget. So while I think they are going to give him a very sizable offer, and while I think he's probably worth every bit of what they give him, I don't foresee it being that high.
And, you know, the one thing I took away from Brett Whiteside joined, I think maybe it was me and Keith back in the Inside the 20 Days. But the one thing I always took away from OTV and Brett was that their goal was to never let NIL be a reason a kid chose somewhere else. And if that's the case, and if they have remained true to that, then like Jay had said, whatever Alabama's offering, Auburn's going to match it, or at least, you know, it's going to get close, and so that NIL is not the issue. Even still, Ryan Williams is going to be a tough pull. Yeah. Listen, we know in-state 5-star guys, it's very difficult unless they've got Auburn connections like Bo Nix and Marlon Davidson. It's very difficult and very rare for Auburn to beat Alabama.
I will say this. What I do like about Ryan is that he's in the 2025 class. He's not in this class. So it gives you the opportunity from a relational standpoint to catch up. And then it also allows you to, like we all talked about, to put that proof of concept on the field this year and how we're going to feature the wide receiver position. And it really gives you 2 years to show that before any pen paper is going to actually transpire. So while I'm calling Perry Thompson this year's Tony Mitchell, I think there's some more. I think there's some more leeway there in this recruitment, and I'm willing to kind of let the string play out some before I say, "Hey, it's not going to happen."
Sure,
I hear you. Hey, Cole said this earlier, man. If there's one position that I would never say it's done, especially with 2 years left with Hugh Freeze, it's freaking wide receiver.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now,
there's some proof of concept there with Hugh Freeze, right, Jhead?
A little bit. A little bit.
I mean, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Let's just get all the catchphrases right here. You know what? I can even tell my supper club story myself here. You know what I mean?
And you want to? How about you? Somebody, don't you, Jhead?
Yeah. Look, Newman came in with a really great comment before. I just want to thank him and Pocket Watch, two of my favorite posters on the board, and two of my favorite people in general. So thank you guys for all the support you give to the site and watching the show tonight. We really appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. Zach, do we have any lightning rounds tonight? Quick little questions from the chat, man. Hayden Harris wants to know what would be the reason for us losing a transfer wide receiver to Arizona, and he is referring to Jhead's comment about Montana.
Yeah, Montana.
Is it Arizona or Arizona State?
Arizona. He's originally from Southern California. He's from the LA area. Arizona is obviously significantly closer. Jhead Fish also has a very proven passing game. They run some pro concepts out there. Sure. And I believe he's got some relationships on that staff from his first recruitment. So if you're looking at the relational aspect of it, I would say that Arizona probably has a better pull than Auburn. I just think the opportunity at Auburn is significantly better to play in the SEC and a Hugh Freeze offense where you know you're going to get a chance to get onto the field. So that's why I would trend Auburn in this direction. But I can understand why it would be appealing to him to look at Arizona, specifically with the numbers that they put up out there last year and the proximity to home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot he's from Inglewood.
Yep.
Always up to no good. Brad Bergans wants to know, do you think the Burnett, Jamarian Fat Burnett stays with Auburn? I know a few schools like FSU absolutely is still wanting him to open up his recruitment. I honestly feel as good about Fat Burnett as long as Auburn wants him, and I have no reason to believe that they don't. I feel as good about him as anybody else that's committed to Auburn right now.
Yeah, I would say
sticking with Auburn.
Besides maybe Walker White, I feel like he's the next.
Yeah,
Walker
I hear
White
you.
Being number one for me. Yeah,
I think
I would put him. Go ahead, Jhead.
I think the only thing that would change the picture for me is if Carnell Williams, were to get a coaching job someplace else.
Yeah, that
okay.
He get a head coaching opportunity, or the NFL comes calling, or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that could change the picture for Fat, but short of that, and I really don't think Carnell's looking, if we're being honest.
And be happy that other schools want guys that are committed to Auburn. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Hey, D's got a great question right here, man. Are we Auburn offering more wide receivers, transfer wide receivers, because we've moved on from J.R. Shorter, or are we just offering just in case he commits elsewhere? I think it's a fantastic question. Second one being, where do you guys think our staff ranks in the SEC? We'll get to that later, but let's hit this up because real quick, this is a lightning round. Cole, you jump in here. You know more about Shorter.
Yeah, I thought we needed to address him tonight. I don't know if that one's going to happen anymore, and we've said that could possibly. I mean, it seemed like a slam dunk just because he wanted in with Auburn so bad. I mean, when I talked to him in person, it really seemed like he did, and I don't think anything's changed there. But for whatever reason, I don't think this one's going to happen. I think your Shane Hooks offer to the Jackson State receiver might have something to do with that. And when I saw that offer go out, I'd already heard, rumblings that maybe Shorter wasn't going to happen. So then I was like, yeah, I think they might not. And I don't really know the reason. It could be because he was injured for 2 full seasons. There may be something there. But
a lingering injury, yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
And I did make a post on the board about this, but right now I don't see that one happening anymore.
Second question from D. Where do you guys think our staff ranks in the SEC? I would say they're very unproven, right? There's a lot of guys.
That's tough right now.
I would say probably at the top of the second tier. I mean, and I'm not saying, and I don't know.
Sure. From a proven commodity standpoint, you got to love the coordinators. But then when you get into the position coaches, you got a lot of guys, this is their first time at the Power 5 level. I mean, I think your offensive line coach, who we all think is going to be a stud, is a P5 guy. Carnell is a P5 guy, and Zach McGriff. Those are your proven guys. But then you got a whole bunch of guys that, are up from the G5 that, listen, I love them. I think they're going to be stars. But they got to go out and they got to prove it. So I'm with you, Jeffrey. I think obviously the staffs at Alabama, Georgia, even Tennessee and LSU, I think you got to put them kind of in a quadrant to themselves. And then I would say, yeah, you're at the top of the second tier because you love the coordinator experience.
Yeah.
We need to see the proof from some of those position coaches.
You've got first P5 coaching for Josh Aldridge, the linebackers, Jeremy Garrett, the defensive line coach, Marcus Davis, the wide receivers coach, Ben Agamaya, the tight ends coach. There's 4 guys, almost half your staff, that's never coached in a Power 5 football game.
Right.
So, yeah, but I think we're talking about hope, and we've seen these guys up close and personal. We think I don't think that's going to be a hindrance to Auburn's season.
No.
All right, Bray TV going to close us out tonight. Good stuff, D. We appreciate you, big dog. What is the chance we get the transfer wide receiver from JSU or Shorter? So we just talked about Jair Shorter. Cole thinks that's no longer the case. And Cole, I was very close to putting in a prediction for Jair Shorter.
Me too.
And the only reason that was keeping me from doing it is I didn't really know how Auburn felt.
Yep.
And now that, and I'm glad I kind of was hesitant because, as Cole just said, he doesn't think Auburn's going to push for him, which would explain the Shane Hooks offer, which is who Bray is here asking us about here, the JSU receiver. And this dude's 6'4", 210 or something like that.
Big guy.
Shane Hooks. But so one of the two. So with Shorter being out, Bray, chances that Auburn could get, and it's so early in his recruitment as far as Auburn's recruitment of it. They just offered it Friday night. So it's really difficult for me to say.
Well, and who are the other players for him right now? Obviously, he just decommitted from Ole Miss.
And he got a lot of offers.
Right. And so you don't think he's going to go back to Ole Miss, but Utah's in it with him. Colorado's offered. Texas A&M's offered. Auburn's offered. Cincinnati. So multiple Power 5 schools are all in the mix for him. And that's just what I can remember off the top of my head. And I don't know that he's taken a visit anywhere other than Ole Miss at this point. Mm-hmm. So check back in with us next week. Ask the same question.
Yeah, listen, he's at the top of my list, Bray, as to people I'm going to be digging on. Like I need to find. Like we saw, Auburn offered him, or at least he announced the Auburn offer Friday night, and since then haven't really heard much. But we're going to be doing our. Because if there's going to be another wide receiver taken, he's the most likely because he's the one that we know that Auburn has offered.
Yep.
You got Zachary Franklin, who's still floating out there, but no traction that we know of quite yet. So,
right. Yeah. No traction at all. And then obviously the young man from TCU, and I think I made a post on the board about that today, where there's some academic hurdles with him.
Oh, yeah.
More than likely, I would expect him, if he can get everything correct, then I would expect him to go to SMU. If not, it may be junior college or back to TCU, contingent on how they feel there. So,
how about my boy Caleb Johnson from Notre Dame going to a SMU?
SMU, yeah.
All right. I liked old Caleb. He was a good dude, man. Still is. I actually was texting with him the other day. So best of luck to. I think he's a former Auburn commitment.
Former Auburn commitment out of the Jacksonville area. Unfortunately, when it looked like all the rumors started with Gus that he was going to be fired, Caleb decommitted and then quickly committed to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Things haven't necessarily worked out there, but Rhett Lashley runs a very similar offense to what Gus was running when he committed. So I think that's probably a really good fit for him.
And he was teammates with Garner Langlow,
yeah,
correct?
Sure was. I think he was a year above.
I think they were the
same class, and then they also had the same guy that ended up. Who was it? The left tackle that went to Florida.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but Josh something maybe.
Yeah, God, Jeffrey, you interviewed this.
Either way, I do remember though. I was like, that has to be the biggest offensive line in high school football in America. Good gracious!
Oh man,
where'd they go? Trinity Christian,
Trinity Presbyterian.
Trinity, yeah, something like that in Ocala, Florida, I think.
Ocala, sure was. Yeah, man. They got some big old boys down there. I can't
think of the guy's name that went to Florida. Braun? Is it Braun?
No. Braun was Joshua Braun, but he did go to Florida. He's now transferred to Arkansas.
Okay.
God, what's this? Austin Barber.
Oh, yeah. Austin Barber, yeah.
And
all three of those guys
forever, Gus was going to push the chips in on him and offer. And never did, and obviously got fired. But
Mike could have used him. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, he had a hell of a season last year playing tackle for Florida. So
there you go.
That's a good one to go out on, man. What another fantastic show, man. Man, I'll tell you what. Let's see here. Oh, JC got us started. Don't forget old Bristol from Bristol.
I like
yeah,
it.
Bristol from Bristol.
He want to know. I want to know how to tell the difference between South Carolina and USC. USC and USC.
He was eating at him, man. He had to call in the Auburn Live show.
Then we had that Schaller. Remember that Schaller? That Schaller that shawed in?
Yeah.
Oh, Sheeper. Oh, Shefford Shee.
Shed.
Joe Shed. And Shoal Sheeston. Then we had the Wolf call in and get us started on that NIL, which was a fantastic discussion. Braylon from SC called in, man. He had some good recruiting. Josh from Texas. We had Gracie. Oh, Gracie Skywalker making another appearance. Bryce from Beulah was fantastic as always. Carter, the soon-to-be married man from San Antonio. No. He wasn't from San Antonio. He was at the beach. His girl was at the beach one. He's from South Carolina or Sharpsburg. I can't remember.
Georgia. He's from Georgia, I want to say.
Okay. And then Kevin from Wilmer. And then Hogbone and Hanratty. Yeah. Hanratty. Fantastic show, folks. Before we go, man, one more time, if you're looking for a house in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, this girl can get it done, son. Give her a call. Jessica Andrus with the Talents Group. 334-5. I'm looking at Jhead saying 5. She is a 5-star, folks. Selling, buying in and around Auburn, Opelika, she can get it done. 334-704-4442. Give her a call. Tell her we sent you. We appreciate everybody listening, man. We appreciate everybody watching. Check back with us on Thursday. We'll have us another recruiting show. For Jhead, for Cole, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay out of that left lane. See ya.